What image comes to mind when I ask you to conjure up your idea of the ideal woman's body? I mean, really, no, take a moment and think about it. Voluptuous hourglass figure, slim and willowy, fragile even, ferociously fit, Rubenesque hips with a world on her balcony, or flat as a 1920s flapper. Well, this is, after all, the view from abroad, so junk in the trunk factors high in my estimation, as you can see behind me, but how to get the right amount of junk in the right place and keep it there, and what price needs to be paid to attain and maintain our perceived ideals, that's what we're talking about today. Welcome to Season 2 of The View from Abroad. You have to excuse me, I got a little bit of a cold. You may even hear a little bit of drilling upstairs, but listen, I am going to be that Xena Warrior podcaster and just muscle through this. And we're going to put the magnifying glass to a satirical newspaper column that I wrote in the 1990s about the impact on young girls of an exercise machine infomercial that ran in the middle of Saturday morning cartoons. And we'll position that versus a cult classic TV show about a warrior princess. And we're going to be doing that with a woman who is starring, as we're recording this, in the series American Gladiator on Amazon Prime. So, in a sense, we have our very own warrior princess, Daniella Means. But before Daniella joins us, let's listen to that column written 3 decades ago. Hurrah for TV's Hefty Heroine. I don't know. Maybe I'm nuts, but I'd rather let my daughter watch a leather-bosomed warrior princess who kicks the poop out of the bad guys and rides off into the sunset at the end of each 30-minute episode than a leotard-clad fitness evangelist who's whipping up the masses while she straddles the latest cross-training sensation on a 20-minute infomercial. 2 opposite ends of the strong woman's scale. Xena is the hippest, coolest chick to wear gladiator boots. She fights evil. She's brave and decisive. She's beloved by the people, the common folk. She's got great hair, shoulders like a linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers, the lips of Marilyn Monroe, and a nice big butt. She rides from adventure to adventure with her perky but accident-prone sidekick, who's also got childbearing hips, long red tresses bearing a striking resemblance to the Duchess of York. On the other hand, Tiffany Bambi Crystal of infomercial fame is the most terrifying woman to don a thong. She fights flab. She's confident in a manic direct marketing sort of way. She's got Barbie's hair and a body like a Baywatch babe. She rides that bloody up-and-downalyzer as her trusty sidekick, an aging American football star friend gazes on in adoration. It's like an old-style revival meeting. Tiffany Bambi Crystal starts us off. Let's get Myra up there to talk about the changes in her life. The crowd cheers as a middle-aged woman with thighs as thick as her accent lumbers onto the stage and stands next to the action blur that is Tiffany Bambi Crystal on the up-and-downalyzer. Well, when I'm first coming to this country, my life is very hard. That's great, sweetie, says Fran. But what about your butt? Was that very hard? No, it wasn't. In fact, we've got a picture of you the very first time you mounted the up-and-downalyzer. The crowd gasps, and Myra, shamed at the rear-view shot of her old corpulent self straddling the device, pulls her headdress down over her face. Oh, I was such a porker. I was struggling to make life for my 6 disabled children and my incontinent husband, and That's super! And you saw the infomercial on television, and then what happened? I wasn't owning credit card, but nice man on 1-800 telephone line is accepting my cash. I had to make healthy myself to support mother with gingivitis and brother-in-law with infected plantar's warts, so I... Yeah, that's terrific. Now, let's get you on the scale. The anticipation of the crowd is palpable as Myra steps on the scale. Even Tiffany Bambi Crystal stops up and downing as the numbers spin by on the enlarged overhead projection. Ooh, wow, from a whopping 92 kilograms before the up-and-downalyzer to just 88 kilograms.
That's a loss of 4 kilograms after just 7 months of every morning for 2 hours. 7 days? Just 1 week? Why, it's a miracle, Tiffany Bambi Crystal. No miracle, Fran. Just the amazing up and down Elizer. Myra, get back on and show the folks at home how easy it is. But please, I'm so tired, and I already done 3 hours of upping and downing this morning. Myra mounts the machine. Fade to black. Yeah, look, this infomercial is shown twice in a row during Prime Kids viewing time. Call me old-fashioned, but I think it sends out the wrong message to young people, especially to young girls. I don't want my daughter aspiring to be an insincere, hard-selling, buttless wonder. Nope. I switch that junk off and hold out for the real thing on Saturday nights, when we can sit in front of the TV and free the world of evil. I tell you, that Xena is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. But I'm talking about Xena, and we can dig it.
Daniela, I actually have to read all this stuff. You're a professional bodybuilder, a world champion power lifter, a former international rugby player, and in addition to starring as Voltage on Amazon Prime's American Gladiators, you and your husband, John, own and operate Hybrid Gym in LA. And we're going to hear more about this later. You also do coaching in fitness and strength. I mean, who better to unpack that crazy column with me than you?
Thank you so much for having me, Teresa. Yeah, what a column. That took me way back. I literally grew up with that. I remember my mom, my sister, and I just every Saturday night watching that on Star TV in Hong Kong. And it would immediately follow Hercules, but Xena was always our favorite because she was such a baddie.
She was such a badass.
Just Lucy Lawless. There's what a woman.
Hats
she was
off
so
to
fun.
you, Lucy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was actually going to ask you that. I was going to ask you if your mom encouraged you to watch Xena.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my mom's kind of the pinnacle of badassery in my books. Just being a single working mom and just encouraging me to put my hand at everything. She always told me to try everything once, and whatever I tried, put in my all. And clearly I took that to heart with everything, I guess fitness and business wise.
Wow.
But yeah.
Hey, do you have any recollection of that Saturday morning infomercial that I was sending up? Does that ring any bells?
That I do not. That I do not. But you know what? I grew up in the 90s, right? So in the 90s, right? And even your column is in the 90s, right? So that was the era of the thigh gap, right? Of chopstick legs, of just being as thin what is like being cocaine chic, right? Just being super scrawny and slim. And I was never that.
Yeah.
And so I remember just trying to do all sorts of diets under the sun, especially as a teenager. So can totally see where you were coming from in that column with, how you don't want your daughter growing up watching that.
That was on Saturday mornings. Well, and of course it's a huge send up. They didn't have, I'm taking that way over the top, but I'll tell you something. In this podcast, we, take a look back 3 decades, and looking back 30 years to what's changed. There was a series that ran, from 2004 until 2020 called The Biggest Loser. And it was a reality show type competition that got obese contestants competing against each other to lose weight. And it ran for 18 seasons.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I remember I think I watched it in later years. Cause honestly, it was a little bit entertaining, just the way that she would, each of the trainers would just shout and beast them. And it was just crazy, very voyeuristic. Also kind of evil, and not healthy.
On Netflix, there's a thing called Fit for TV, which is going behind the scenes.
Yeah, which is actually it's really insightful and interesting. That's actually how I first heard about American Gladiators, was through the documentary.
Go on.
Well, because I didn't grow up watching American Gladiators. Like we didn't have that in Hong Kong.
No.
The first time I ever lived in the US was when I moved here 8 years ago. So yeah, it's not something that we grew up with, but it's interesting because it goes behind the scenes of I guess the politics between the contenders and the gladiators, but then more so production and
Mm,
how things are being run and how physically demanding the show was, and the
mm,
injuries and the toll it took on everyone's bodies.
mm.
Um, very, similar in the sense to the documentary on Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
Just how, production really pushed them. Now that
Right.
was not my experience.
I was going to say, you're in the new improved version of this. I have two questions for you. One is, what are some good reasons for wanting to change the way we look? What are some good reasons for that?
If you're inherently unhappy with how you look, and if you can do something to change that, it's very empowering. And I think it gives you a new sense of um, confidence. If you can do that, it also shows a lot of determination to do something about it.
Mm.
And so I think confidence, just that mental health side of things, I think is massive.
Okay,
Um,
second question. Bad reasons for wanting to lose weight or build muscle mass. What are some bad reasons for doing
I
it?
don't know. I mean, I think anything with extremes is not a good thing.
Hmm.
So when it comes to like is wanting to change, is strength training, is there a reason why strength training could be bad for you?
I guess it's got to
Mm,
do with like your mindset around it, really.
yeah. If it
You know?
becomes obsessive and it's kind of and it's all that you do, it's like, well, is that a bad thing necessarily? Because then you look at like, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
That
is
was
that
all he
is that
did.
a bad thing?
And I guess if you're doing it not for yourself, you're doing it for, well, I was just going to bring up the thing of the male gaze, another topic that
Mm,
is new vocabulary in our
mhm.
era. It was always there, but we never had a name for it. Nobody ever thought to put a pin in that, right?
Yeah.
And I guess if you're changing your body, not for reasons that have to do with your own happiness, but to make somebody else happy or to try and
Oh, no,
attract,
that's fair.
right?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah. Um, and yeah, how you use it, but then you could argue, is that post-feminism where you're trying to use your assets in order to get what you want,
Oh my
and
goodness. Yeah.
leverage that? I don't know. It's like you could go back and forth on it
It's
all
like a
day.
ping pong
Yeah.
game,
And
right?
because
Really.
especially in the era of, oh god, if you wanna be really, really extreme, but like of OnlyFans,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? There are some people making some bank on that. And and it's certainly very, very popular, I think, in the bodybuilding world, where women they're very happy, but to do that because they're like, well, I just have to post a I just have to post a couple of pictures and they're making all sorts and they're just making a living off of that.
Yeah.
Um, I personally couldn't do it, but to each their own.
How about talking about the female gaze? Like women's assessments of other women. Did you get any negative feedback when you started bodybuilding? Talk to me about that.
Oh, even when I was younger, I think so my first coaching job, must have been in 2012. I was a fresh graduate from university, and I just moved back to Hong Kong, and I was out and I was coaching a women's boot camp. And I would frequently, we talk to women about like, what are your goals? What are you looking to achieve? What's the body type that you're aspiring to, just to give us some sort of idea. And I frequently had women say straight to my face, I don't want to look like you. And
Oops.
and unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, I was mature enough to be like, that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not, you couldn't, like, we like, no. It's,
Yeah.
I've been doing my history with training is so different, that it would take a long time and a very specific type of training. Um, and she was specifically referring to my arms and my shoulders.
Right.
Um, and she was, a slim thing. But
Did you get
I
any did you
frequently
get
got that
any
in Asia.
how about, like, with your family? Did you get any negative feedback from your family when you started really building your
Bodybuilding.
body? Yeah.
um,
I
I
know your
not
husband's supportive, right? Because that's his
Yeah.
world too.
Um, the family, I think it's more than the competitions that like show day, right? Like getting on stage half naked in a bikini, you're wearing these like 6-inch heels, you're in fake tan and you're being judged for how you look. So I think it's more that side of things that they were like, "Oh, really? Like do you want to go back to like powerlifting, which is competitive strength,
Yeah.
right?" And so yes, I think it's more that that conservative side.
Do you think that was because they looked at that as being more of like a beauty contest than a sports competition?
I think so, which to be honest, I agree with. To me, bodybuilding isn't really a sport. There's a debate of is it a sport or is it an art form?
Mhm.
Because of the judging criteria, right? At the end of the day, it's a panel of judges that changes and it's their subjective opinion. It's not based on, there's a points system, but it's all, yeah, it's fluid. It's very
Yeah.
fluid.
It's a whole, like, a subculture. It's like following rodeo or something like that, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a whole different world. It's not a world I've been a part of, until 2022.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's still quite new to me in some ways. When I think about like I did powerlifting for like 8 years. I did rugby for 7, 8 years as well. So this is like a whole new stratosphere,
Yeah.
of the lingo, of the culture, of yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, so here's another question for you. Does being physically strong necessarily make a person more able to deal with dangerous situations?
So it depends. Um, It means that, I mean, if you're in a dangerous situation, it's interesting because I talk to my husband John about it all the time. And John was a pro MMA fighter. He's a black belt in jujitsu. He was a
I
pro
was gonna
boxer.
say, right? I
Yeah, so
remember
he's
seeing
a
that.
fighter. He's a
Yeah.
fighter through and through. And so people talk about a lot about like, oh, why don't you do like self-defense classes at your gym and stuff like that? And the thing is that the best thing that you can do for yourself when it comes to being in a dangerous situation is be able to get out of it,
Yeah.
right? And that's to run.
Be
That's
a
to
good runner.
exit from the situation, right? So if you're overweight or if you have trouble walking or if you are, anything that keeps you from getting out of a situation, I think if you're physically fit, that's only going to help you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, I started this podcast asking each of us to imagine the ideal form. Is there an ideal form? Or is it everybody's got their own ideal form, you know?
I think, is there an ideal form? I don't know.
Ideal, even when you're looking at athletes, the ideal for a swimmer is not the
Yep,
ideal for a bodybuilder, is not the ideal
exactly.
for a
And even in bodybuilding, you have different categories,
right.
um, different levels of musculature. And so whoever wins the Olympia each year is seen as the standard and what everyone should strive for that division.
Ah,
But then and everyone's kind of different shape. You have one category called wellness, which is very big glutes, big thighs, and slightly smaller up top.
mm,
Whereas my division figure is all about symmetry between top half, bottom half, as well as, left and right
right,
in terms of
right.
musculature. So I don't know.
I mean, you must have to think about individual ideals because you coach individuals, and we're gonna hear about that right after this. I looked at your website, and your coaching is about an online process of working with individuals. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so basically, I work with people online, wherever they are in the world, on their health and fitness goals. So I'm a certified nutrition coach as well as a trainer, and so it's just about helping people with where they're at currently and where they want to be. And that starts with an audit of, okay, where are you at now? Right? What's your pant size? How much do you weigh? What are our baseline numbers in the gym? Have you ever been into a gym? What do you have
Mm.
access to? How much sleep do you get? How much water are you drinking? Are you getting 15 minutes of sunshine every day? What's your digestion like? Are you getting fiber? What are our hormone levels like? When was the last time you got some blood work? Are there any other considerations? Do you cook? Do you live with someone that you need to take into account? Are they supportive of your goals? So it's all about just taking like a full audit of that and
Mm.
understanding where they want to be. And then it's my job to then come up with a blueprint that gradually gets them there. A lot of the time, I work with especially women who are just honestly, they want to lose like maybe 15 pounds most of the time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is usually the number. And I have to kind of pull out of them like, okay, was there some sort of performance goal that we have in mind? Like, do you want to be able to do a push up? Do you want to be able to do
Right.
a
So it's
chin up?
not just about losing pounds. It's about like, what do you want to be able to do differently as a result of
Exactly.
that? Yeah.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
um that changes their motivation in the gym, and it kind of makes them look at the gym a little bit differently. And I do think it's
Mm.
it's good that in our culture, um, especially over here, people are getting more interested in being stronger.
Yeah.
Because especially in the post COVID era, everyone is working from home and everyone's very sedentary and very, very weak.
Yeah.
Um, and I do tie it to, the amount that you can squat is directly correlated to how long you will live, because that
Mm.
affects your ability to get out of a chair. If you can get out of a chair and move around more, you're going to be more active.
I saw something on the BBC about that, about this. It's about the amount of power, but it's being able to cross your arms in front of you and just get up on your own out of a chair.
Yep.
And how many times can you do that in a minute or whatever? And I'm
Yep.
happy to say I could do it a lot. I was an up and
Excellent.
downalizer.
Atta girl. Atta girl.
But I would still like to lose those pounds. Anyway, listen, I'm going to give a plug to your coaching here. It's Relentless Online Coaching. I love the name. www.relentlessonlinecoaching.com to talk to Dani about how you can set some goals and get somebody who can help you to be relentless about meeting those goals. Does that sound about right?
Perfect. And you can book a free strategy call.
Now, what story came up for you?
In 2021, I was attacked. I was walking my dog. It was broad daylight. And a man came up to me and said, "Give me your bag." And I just went, "What? Huh?" Um, and he pulled out a hammer and hit me across the face, with a
What?
hammer. So yeah, he broke my orbital bone, fractured my nose, and I dropped to my knees. I thought I'd lost my eye, thought I could go brain dead. Um, and the first thing I said was, "Don't hurt my dog." But also, when you talk about the male gaze, um, I was very critical of myself in that situation, because it was like, what was I wearing? I was wearing sweatpants. I was wearing a hoodie.
Oh,
I could
this
not.
is such a thing to go back and go, how did I bring this on myself?
right?
Why do we do
Such a
that?
female, such a
Ugh.
female thing. Um, yeah, but to be honest, what makes me angry is that it doesn't matter what I was wearing. I could have been wearing, I should have been able to wear a mini skirt, hooker heels, like whatever, like a bra, like whatever. I should have been able to wear anything. But the fact that I do, we're in a society where I do question that is quite sad in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but I was completely covered up. It was, but I was taking Butch on his morning
Oh,
walks.
listen, and what did he do? He hit you in the face with a hammer.
Yeah, and took my bag and ran off.
Jeez.
And then tried doing it to another woman.
Did they catch
And
this guy?
then they caught him because they had a couple found me because I was like screaming and crying, and a couple who were exiting the hotel that I was downstairs from found me and called the police. I gave my description, and they were running around trying to find him, and they found him just as he was trying to attack another woman. The irony is, I I was 7 weeks out from training for a powerlifting meet, so I'm a strong person, but like me against a hammer, or God forbid if he had had a gun, um, it's what are you gonna do? Like
Yeah.
the gun is gonna win.
Yeah.
The hammer won.
Yeah.
What helped me get past that situation was honestly like I took a week off of training, and then made sure that everything felt good. CT scan was clear, everything, and I just got back to training, light, easy, but that helped me bounce back more
Put
than
your
anything.
put your life back together.
Yeah,
Put the pieces that are yours back in place and
yeah,
not let
and
that be taken and disrupted by some lunatic stranger. Yeah.
I
Oh,
was I
man.
was I was angry, because it was, fortunately my eye was fine, but I was angry because it was like, why should I not do this competition just because you decided to take something from me? Why should
Exactly.
I adjust my lifestyle because you decided to do this horrible thing?
Yeah.
And so I used that as kind of fuel.
Yeah.
Um, and that's where I really had an appreciation for training, health, and fitness because I healed like Wolverine, I tell you. It was wild, like looking
I
at the
remember
pictures,
that because I can remember looking at your pictures and thinking, hang on, she got hit in the eye with a hammer. And
and it
like
was
within a
bad.
month and a half,
Yeah,
it was pretty amazing.
it was wild.
Yeah.
And I never got any work done or anything on it, but
I
like,
don't even, no, I
I'd
can't even
I'd
see anything
5
happen.
stitches in my eyebrow, and yeah, so no, that's where, the power of routine, of consistency, of just, waking up, showing up, and just one day at a time. You just have to keep going because the other option is just to what, fold and die. you know, you just
Yeah.
you just have to keep going. I think that it also brings up, and that whole, I guess, discussion brings up, my mom, me
Mm,
thinking about my mom,
mm,
being a single mom with 2 young daughters,
mm.
and with no degree and having to join the workforce again. And just you just have to figure it out,
Yeah.
right? You just have to do the best you can, and just put one foot in front of the other and just keep going. My mom, like, and I've told her like countless times, but she's my absolute role model, hero. Um, just for her to go from being, I think she started off as like a secretary, to then working her way up to be eventually a CEO, uh, of a major company as a single woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, of an international brand. Just what a badass. The fact of the matter is that she couldn't afford a degree.
Yeah.
That's an arm and a leg. And so, so she always pushed me a lot academically, as an Asian tiger mom should. But she always pushed me to be the best that I could, and she always told me like, you don't have any excuses not to do your best at everything. And
Wow.
yeah, clearly I took that to heart.
Yeah, you did. You are a product of that mothering, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Like as much as people are like, oh, wow, like you're so amazing. I'm like, it's the parenting, and it's my mother because my mom raised me. Like don't get me wrong. My dad is around and alive and well and in the picture, but she's very much the woman that raised me. And I think that's why her and my sister just loved watching Xena Warrior Princess so much because we were just the girls. It was just the three girls at home, watching this amazing, beautiful woman just, kick butt, take names like week after week. And she was just awesome.
And always on the side of good. Always on the
Yes.
side of good. Okay, listen, darling, thank you so much for being a guest. We got so many fabulous stories out of this conversation, and I knew that would be the case. I knew that would be the case. All right, Dani Means. Let me give you another shout out for the website, www.relentlessonlinecoaching.com. Congratulations on the gladiator thing. Gosh, that could be a whole nother conversation. I would love to know more about behind the scenes of that.
No, it's wild. It was the LA bucket list thing that I never knew was even coming for me, but kind of serendipitous.
Well, as we say at the end of every podcast, first of all, I have to say this. If you're enjoying the View from Abroad podcast, please do me that solid. And before you sign out of whatever platform you're viewing or listening to us on, please just take 30 seconds to subscribe and follow and comment. It means a lot. Daniella, again, thank you. Thank you, you Xena Warrior gal. And for those of you who are listening, if you're battling evil in some part of your life or worrying about what is around the next corner, hey, what if it is good?